For years, I've seen all the different ways to fertilize tomatoes, from the classics like Miracle-Gro and liquid fertilizers to the completely unexpected methods like raw eggs and electroculture. And I've always wondered, which one actually performs best? So last season I tested not one, not two, not three, but 7 different fertilizers to find out which one helps tomatoes grow to their fullest potential. And in today's video, I'm gonna share all of the results with you to help you get your best tomato harvest ever. At the beginning of last season, I set up 7 grow bag environments. Every single one of the grow bags in this experiment is 10 gallons in size. For environment number 1, I went with 100% ProMix. No compost, no fertilizer, just the peat moss and perlite that comes in ProMix, as this will serve as our control in this environment. No nutrients in these ones. I don't think they're gonna do very well. For environment number 2, I made a blend of 25% ProMix, 75% compost. This compost should provide lots of nutrients, microbial life, and way better water retention. So these ones do have a lot of compost in them, so I think they're actually gonna grow fairly well. For environment 3, I went with 1 handful of worm castings and 1 tablespoon of 444 superfood in each of the grow bags. This is a really great boost of nutrients that will slowly become available to the plants through the season. Now, everything that I plant in my garden, I do this exact same way. 444 superfood and worm castings. So my guess is these ones will grow super well. For environment 4, I went with Miracle-Gro liquid fertilizer. Now, I'm not a big chemicals or synthetics guy, but there's a reason why Miracle-Gro exists and people have success with it. I have a feeling that these will put on a ton of growth this season. For environment number 5, I'm gonna try a liquid tomato fertilizer for the first time. It's a 314 NPK fertilizer, and since it's liquid, the nutrients should be readily available for the plants. Okay, this environment is hands down the one I'm most interested and intrigued to see the results on. And the reason why is because I don't currently utilize any form of liquid fertilizers at the beginning of the season, middle of the season, tail end of the season. And so this is something I could start incorporating into my gardening if I'm seeing really great results, which we're gonna find out over the course of this season. For environment number 6, we're gonna go with a raw egg. All right, so we got all that egg matter in there. Give it one of those, and I'm putting the whole shell in there as well. A lot of people absolutely swear by this technique, so I'm really excited to be trying it out, and I've got absolutely no idea how well it's going to do compared to these other fertilizers, especially the very last one. And finally, the most controversial of them all, electroculture. From what I understand, the belief is you take a copper coil antenna and put it into your soil. This will pull low-level electrical fields and energy to supercharge the soil and your plants. Okay, now these ones are all set. I'll own it right now. I am 100% skeptical about whether or not this will work. And if it does work, I am more than happy to be eating my words on this one. So we're gonna have to find out. All right, these babies are all set. I have no idea what's gonna happen in this experiment. I'm super intrigued to see. So for that, let's fast forward for our first updates. It's only been 2.5 weeks since we kicked this experiment off. And as you can see, there is tons of growth across the board. I'd say that the 3 that are leading the charge right now are the organic liquid fertilizer, the Miracle-Gro, and then also the Mind and Soil worm castings and 444 organic fertilizer. So the only thing that we're gonna be doing in today's update is our next round of fertilization for the Miracle-Gro liquid fertilizer, as well as the organic liquid fertilizer. It kind of feels like cheating that they get an additional feed and nothing else does, but that also is a bit of the nature of this experiment. So with that in mind, let's fast forward for our next update. All right, so it's about a month later and we've got a little bit of a mixed review update here. So the plants have clearly put on a lot of growth. There's some really nice flowers all throughout the plants, and we do have some fruit that have set. So that's all good. However, what I've noticed on these plants is a lot of leaf curl. And with that, I have not really been seeing any new fruit setting. So those flowers that are on the plants aren't actually turning into fruit right now. And I'm a little bit confused as to why this is the case or what is going on in this instance. It is happening across all of the environments, so it's not related to one fertilizer. And then just behind me, I've also got potatoes and I've got peppers, and nothing is happening to them. So it does seem like it is unique or specific to the tomatoes here, and they might be getting cooked a little bit too warm in these grow bags, even with the straw over top of them. For the time being, we do have some rain in the forecast over the course of the next week here. So I'm gonna hang tight on it for the moment, see if they start to relax a little bit and put out a couple more fruit as we get towards the tail end of the season. So with that in mind, let's fast forward for our next update. All right, guys, I think that I gotta take the loss on this experiment. So we're now at the very end of August and they really haven't improved in any way, shape, or form. And so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the experiment up here and kind of put into the bucket or category of flop or fail. And I still wanna share all of this with you because I think that it's super important to do so. This is exactly how I've learned to become a gardener. My first year planting garlic, I planted it in the shadiest part of my yard. But I took that learning, planted it into a new area the next year, got a way better harvest. Same thing with some potatoes. I planted them into a grow bag and got a terrible harvest off of them. But I took those learnings, have applied them subsequently, and now I get amazing harvests of potatoes. So with all these experiments and trials that I do, as long as I get a learning or an insight that I can then apply into my next round of planting, then that's still a win for me, because gardening isn't something that you master in 1 year. It's truly a lifelong process. So then when we think about this experiment, I'm asking and scratching my head, what went wrong? Why did they not grow well? And what's really interesting is that in my raised bed right behind me here, I've got this exact same tomato variety growing and they're doing incredibly well. So it has to be something to do with this grow bag environment. And I've got kind of like two hypotheses on this at the moment, but I'd also love to hear your thoughts in the comments. First one is that it just got too hot for the roots in these environments. They were looking really good early on in the season, but as soon as those first big heat waves hit, the leaves really started to curl up, not as many of the fruit were setting, and they just started to look more stressed. And the second piece that I'm less sure on is that most of the tomatoes have split or cracked at the top of them. And I think that this is because of overwatering in these environments, but each time that I dig into the soil, it doesn't feel absolutely soaked or drenched. It feels like it has a good level of moisture. So I'm a little bit less clear on that one. But with that being said, let's pop these onto the scale just to see what the difference looks like. All right, so as much as this experiment is falling into the flop or fail category, you know, as I was starting to harvest them, I was kind of getting a little bit excited because as much as it is a flop or fail, every variable has been the exact same, including those stressful elements. So we are still seeing some interesting differences based solely on the levels of fertilization. But let's get started with the ProMix environment. Comes out to 469 grams. So that's with no fertilizer, no compost, nothing, just peat moss and perlite from that ProMix. We'll use that as our starting point. So let's now move on to environment number 2, and this is where we added in some compost, and that comes out to now 800 grams right on the nose. So just by adding in some organic matter, the nutrients within there, we've already almost doubled our harvest. Let's continue along. Environment number 3, worm castings and organic fertilizer. These are the ones that are available on my website. This is what I use all throughout my garden and all my raised beds. Absolutely love it. And as we can see here, definitely a big jump up in harvest. So that comes out to 1,149 grams. From all the experiments that I've run with liquid fertilizers, synthetic fertilizers, I still haven't found anything that beats worm castings plus organic fertilizer planted into a really good soil. And as you can see here, again, it performed super well. But let's now continue on to our next environment, and that is the Miracle-Gro environment. So I'm personally not a fan of utilizing synthetics, putting some kind of blue liquid looking material into the plants that I'm then going to be eating, but it obviously does work as well. And it comes out to 1,122 grams, just barely behind the basically like natural and organic path to fertilization. And so if I have to choose between the two of those, A, it's not a decision that I'd be making anyways, but B, I'm stoked to see that I can get even better results by going down a natural and organic path. Let's move on to our next one. And this is one that I've been so curious about, liquid fertilizer. And we're only at 882 grams. So as we can see here, it's definitely lower than the past two environments. And I'm still not sold on kind of multiple rounds of fertilization over the course of the season. I think that if plants have everything they need right from the jump, there isn't a huge need for additional fertilization throughout the season. Now, on to our last two environments. This is where it gets really fun. We're next going with the egg, and this one did really well. So this is definitely one of those viral ones that I've seen online, people chucking eggs into their beds. And, you know, looks like things did grow fairly well. 958 grams. And that's super interesting to me. I could just grab an egg out of my fridge, pop that into the soil, and get a pretty good harvest off of it. Now, our last environment, of course, electroculture. And that's coming out to 600 grams right on the nose. What's kind of interesting about this one is that it was planted into the exact same soil as environment number 2, where we had 800 grams in that harvest, but it's about 25% smaller at 600 grams. So with that all being said, I am absolutely going to be redoing this experiment next season, get even more insight on this, and I want to continue playing around with different levels of fertilization to continue to figure out what absolutely helps plants grow to their fullest potential. That's all for today's video. Like I said, doesn't always go according to plan, but I do have some great learnings from this that I'm gonna apply into the next season, and that allows me to only grow and improve as a gardener. So with that being said, I'll catch you on the next video. See you then.